Hello and welcome to another glorious read. I am your host, Aspen M. Sage. Let's get into it. First off, happy Friday, everybody. I know right now, currently, we're waiting for a snowstorm to come in, so that's exciting. I actually don't mind the snow. The cold doesn't bother me. I find snowstorms very peaceful. I don't mind shoveling. I don't care for it, but I don't mind it. It lets my brain think peacefully while doing a task. I don't know why I come up with scenarios being an author and little things like that for my characters in my books. But it is what it is. I enjoy it. I also like being outside. So it's very peaceful for me. It's my own time alone. Although today I was having a nice hot chocolate. I thought I'd spice it up a little bit, maybe put a little cinnamon in. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it quite much, and it's kind of funny how a simple little ingredient such as cinnamon or like a peppermint stick can change a whole flavor compound, and it's just delicious. I know that probably made no sense to somebody else, but it does for me. I like adding little things to my food. It's like when I bake, I put honey in it. As it's not just the flavor or the sweetness, but it kind of gives it almost like a floral or a different type of flavor that you would not get with any other like products like sugar and stuff. So I enjoy doing that. All right, enough about me rambling on about delicious things, making people hungry. This Friday book review is Her River God Wolf by Andrea Hawkes. It was a quick read, so it gave me time to start another book, but that's beside the point. So the main character Savannah, and Beau. So Savannah was a rejected halfling, as she called herself. Her family or her mother actually dropped her off in the middle of like nowhere and left her. Um, she didn't have a wolf at the time, so this is a shifter book. She somehow managed to just walk in the middle of the night, even though she could see because of her wolf, even though she couldn't shift. And she ends up sliding down a bank and falling asleep in mud. What's a really uncomfortable, I think, feeling, but I guess if you're so exhausted, you don't care. She falls asleep underneath the bridge. In the morning, our main male character, Beau, who wakes up, he lives in like an RV by himself. He is happy and free. He can do what he wants. And he ends up walking the river and being with his wolf, shifting back and forth. He is an alpha. And he's walking and all of a sudden he sees a pile of rags and he goes, that's strange. He goes, I'll clean it up on my way back, be nice to the environment. Then he realizes it's a person. Okay, that's a little more concerning. And he goes to check it out. And then he realizes it's a girl and he shifts back into a naked man. And his wolf is like, hey, you can't be doing that around people. So he realizes it's not a girl after he goes back and changes because he thinks that she's human and he finds out it's a woman. And then, of course, he's like, hey, ma'am, are you all right? Is something wrong? And he basically, wakes her up slowly, finds out that she's a wolf itself. And honestly, and like most shifter, he's taken by her. She's beautiful. He's fallen in love with her instantly. His wolf is like, that's our mate. And of course, he denies it. Like most shifter books, he's like, no, no, I can't be mated to somebody like her. It's not in a bad way. Now, the only reason why I say that is because this one plays a little bit differently. He had a moment in his past where he thought he loved a woman and thought she loved her back or vice versa, but she chose another. Well, that caused his wolf to go berserk and started killing off his own pack mates. He killed like her lover and a whole bunch of different things. And then he went rogue for like 2 years and couldn't shift back from his wolf. So he abandoned his pack. And now he's like, I am never going to mate with anybody because I'm not going through that pain and torture again. Of course, Savannah knows rejection very well. So when she wakes up, she's taken by him and they start talking. And he slowly is like, hey, let's get you warmed up. let's get you a hot shower, let's get you some clean clothes so you're not kicked in mud, and then we'll see about getting you on your feet. Beau's a private investigator, so he kind of works for himself anyways, so he doesn't care about the time or whatever. He has a lot of money. Again, he was an alpha who left his pack. So she goes back to his bus that he converted, um, and he named her Bertha. I'm like, of course he did. This is just one of those things that I'm like, as soon as I read the name, I was like, of course he did. Why not? So she showers, she's really turned on by him, that whole kind of thing. And there's a lot of like connection, like they know they're attracted to each other, but yet she's like, he doesn't want somebody like me, somebody who's rejected, somebody who's not fully there. Of course he's like, no, I don't need the past repeating. Um, so she goes, takes a shower, gets cleaned up. He's right there with breakfast and stuff for her, and he takes care of her. But he also gets her lined up for a job at a bar. I'm guessing this town they're in is not like high class. They have a lot of like sketchy people, as they put in the book. Um, of course, the bar that he goes to and drops her off at basically is run by a shifter lady, who is a bear shifter, and she takes in the misfits. She also gains a friend who's like a crow or a raven, she thinks. So she's some type of bird shifter. So they literally take her in. They're like, yeah, we can board, give her a place to stay, give her a job, being a bartender, stuff like that. So it was really nice. Um, and it takes these men coming in causing problems when the bear shifter, the boss lady's not there. And of course, Beau comes in, he saves the day, and instead of Savannah staying there at the bar, she gets taken with him. He's like, nope, let's go home, back to Bertha, blah, blah, blah. And she's okay, really, with that. She likes that. So once they return to Bertha, they do get a little bit spicy with each other. They deep kissing, they're touching, um, and they realize they can't fight the whole feelings for each other, but they're gonna try. He's very romantic. He wants to tend to her. He wants to care for her. He's like, maybe if I don't touch her the way I want to, this feeling will go away. Of course, it just makes it worse. His wolf goes basically psychotic inside him, being like, hey, get me out. I want to, be with our mate. During this time when he's sleeping outside, she shifts on the inside and becomes her wolf. And then it's just one of those things where two wolves meet each other, they like each other. She's like okay with it, he helps her through the shift again, and she's like very excited. She's like, oh my god, I can't believe I actually shift. I thought I was defective. And he goes, no, not at all. So he's very sweet. He's very caring. He takes her shopping. He makes sure that she has everything she needs, and he doesn't like do very cheap shopping for her. He takes her to the best places, and she tells him of her dream of being a fashion designer, owning her own boutique. So of course he takes that into consideration. During this whole thing, she's pretty sure that he doesn't like her. And Beau kind of goes off the deep end a little bit and takes off on her and leaves Bertha to her. And he's like, I can't have a mate. And she gives him a couple days to breathe before she's like, okay, third day's enough. I'm going to find him. She does. And when she finds him, she's in her wolf form. She's very excited. She's jipping around, tail wagging, that kind of thing. And he's like, wow, you actually came to find me. And she's like, of course. And they kind of were like, yeah, we're going to mate, screw what our feelings are. And they go back to Bertha, or their parking space in an empty parking lot that they call home. And like I said, this is a very short book. Of course, they made it. She is in love with him, and he obviously loves her. He also did a surprise for her, let her go to like dress school and take courses, and then he buys her a boutique, fixes it up for her. They open the doors, and of course, people come in. She does a surprise for him where like she finds his brothers and brings them in. It's like a very short story. It's very fast paced. but it's good. There is other books to this series. Um, I'm not sure if they're actually standalones or not. I haven't actually looked into them. So it's a really good book. I gave it like a 4.5 stars if I could. So I think I went on the 4 end. Um, the spice level was very quick. There was only really two spice scenes in the whole book. Like I said, it's a very short hour. Like I think the whole book like 3 hours. So of course I have to break mine up because of other things I do. So it took me a little longer than I wanted to read. I think it's like only like 120 pages to be honest. So it's very good. Spice scenes, like I said, are very short. There's only like two of them. I give them a 3. I don't think for as short as the book is, there should be more. I think it's the perfect amount. But I definitely like how Savannah grows in this book, but I also like how Beau is like very like chivalry. He's like, no, I'm gonna take care of you. Don't you worry about it. But he's also like self-struggling. Like he's like, oh, do I do the right thing that I know I need to do, or do I just be um a child in myself and, not give in to the desire. Um, the little side characters are cute, especially when in the book, her bird friend who works at the bar says basically, what are you doing in here at this cafe instead of being over there protecting her like you're supposed to as a good mate? Like, you have no idea what you're doing to her. And he's like, oh, and he's like, I'm struggling and don't trust my own wolf. And she's just like, oh, is that right? Well, maybe you need to grow up some. Like, she's a very snarky, quirky little, like, punk girl, I think is like how they described her, like piercings and stuff and different color hair. Of course, the bear shifter, she's very mama bear. She takes in all these rogue girls and boys and, be's a mother figure for them for the ones that got rejected. It is a good book. Definitely if you want a quick read or a quick space filler, go with this one. But like I said, I ended that one and then I started a new one. What's more of the I was gonna go back to like the mafia books, but I have to wait until they're back out. So I end up going to a, another shifter book. I did the Kiss of Smoke. It's a dragon shifters. So it's the Dragon's Lairds series by Amy Penez. It's a very interesting book how it starts. It got spicy quick. Obviously, I'm not going to go into details now about it, but so far I'm liking it. And I'm like, at first, I'm like, I don't think this is an actual dragon book because some people will be like, oh, you're such a dragon, meaning like you hoard or you're just so grumpy or whatever. Um, and it's kind of funny starting to read this book. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm comparing these characters to a few of my own characters in my books that I write, and I'm like, oh dear, this one reminds me of so and so. So there is that. And of course, me writing my own books, I still have to get them done. I did do, I want to say it's my final edit through my first book, but I'm going through my second book and then my third, and then I'll so on and so forth. Like I said, it's a 12 book series, and I want to make sure that there's no plot holes and that the story flows good. Like my books, how I write them is they start small, like it starts in the beginning, and then it feeds into the next one. But like I don't leave the stories undone. Like I don't leave like, oh, they started on this mission and then it jumps to another book. No, I don't do that. I do leave it usually off on a emotional or sentimental part where it's usually the two characters together. Um, and then it, obviously my next book will seep in and then you know what the next character is. Like I said, I'm hoping it's my final run through of my book one and then I'm going to go book two. Plus, I haven't even touched my book, The Chase, that I was working on, which is not even part of the series whatsoever. Like I said, my Celestial and Demigod series being the first ones, I want to make sure that even though I had them published and I took them off, I want to make sure that they're good. Like, I don't want to be that author that's just like, I'm just going to rush out books. No. And of course, I don't really have the time or the ability to get it to an editor, right away or have beta readers or anything. If anything, I do have like family friends that read it or very close people to me that know how the story should flow, what they personally think. Um, but they're not ones to be like, I'm stealing your story, blah blah blah, or they're not ones that go, oh yeah, that's a little hard. No, they're really cool with it. I love them. They're my besties. Um, so yeah, it's a lot. I'm hoping to get this book done very quickly, and I have a feeling I'm going to. And then I want to see if there's definitely more, because if there is, I might read that. I was a toss up between this book and the Stranded book I wanted to read. I was like, oh, which one do I want? Do I want to go back Dark Romance or Shifter? That seemed to be my favorite right now between the Dark Shifters or the Dark Romance and the Shifters. If I could find one that's both, great. But it's, at the same time, those two genres don't usually mix. It's usually very stocky, bad boy on the Dark Romance, and then your Shifters are usually your Alpha Omegas. So, we'll see how this one goes. I'm very interested, and it's definitely out of my comfort zone. It kind of reminds me or gives me the vibe of the first books I read, what was their Cherished Omega series, where it's like one Omega and like three guys. This book has one female and two male characters. So, I'm not sure how this one's gonna play out. I have a feeling there's gonna be some jealousy somewhere, and it's gonna ruin everything. And I really hope not. I really hope the story just is beautifully done. But hi, like I said, happy Friday, everybody. I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Go on a hike for me. I mean, I could go snowshoeing if I wanted to, but unfortunately, I don't have the um, time to go snowshoeing. Like it's pretty late here right now. So everybody do something nice. Go enjoy something different. Maybe try a different flavor. Like I said, adding cinnamon to like a coffee or a hot chocolate or a peppermint stick, very good. Maybe go try, a special dessert that you've been eyeing, or maybe you make that recipe that you've been like have on your Pinterest. I know I'm guilty of that. And enjoy your guys' weekend. Like, go do something fun. See those people you haven't seen. Give them a call. Go do an adventure. Go take some photos. Do something bright and lively and something that doesn't hold you down. Just release it. It serves no purpose. And have a great day, guys. And thank you for listening in. And I'll catch you with the next review of Smoking Kiss. Thank you for listening and have a great day. Bye.